Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Identity Library. My name is Veronica Becher, and today I'm joined by Cole. Oh my gosh, we will not start with your last name, please. This is he's already coughing. Yes, we have a sick person in the studio. And like you all know, we always start our episodes pretty late. It's literally almost 9 p.m. But that's okay. That's what you get from spontaneous people, right? So welcome to the stage, called the Victory of the People. I'll let you know why the Victory of the People. But do you want to introduce yourself maybe to the listeners and stage?
Absolutely. My name is Cole Hood. I am from North Carolina, and I'm a student at North Carolina State University. And I have Instagram, and Veronica posted something on Instagram saying, "Who wants to come on my podcast?" And like everyone else on Earth, I love hearing the sound of my own voice. So I said, "Veronica, I have a great story. Bring me on your podcast. It'll be awesome."
It was more like, oh, I'm actually good. No. The introduction was literally, I would like to be on your podcast. And I'm like, okay, so what can you tell me? And you're like, oh, I'm a great talker and speaker. I can communicate so well with people.
No, I can talk about anything.
And I was like, okay, so what topic are we going for? And so that was the most spontaneous and also interesting request that I've gotten so far. So I was like, yes, why not? Identity with the, pilot.
My identity is an excellent communicator.
That was too fast. Okay, we haven't even talked yet.
Sorry. We're getting right to the end of the podcast. Okay, everyone can go home. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
So enriching.
Jokes aside, yeah. What are you studying?
I am studying for a Bachelor of Art in Economics, but I wasn't originally.
What happened?
The reason I'm laughing is because I have switched majors about 20,000 million times.
How many times?
Officially,
I love the pause.
one,
Let's just think and
two.
count.
Okay, I think officially only 2 or 3, maybe 4. I don't know what counts, but I am on the track to get a bachelor in economics and graduate on time. But I originally went into college at a different school, and I was just in the general business program. And then I met a bunch of friends that were engineers there, and they convinced me to transfer majors and get an engineering major. And people don't do that, and there's a reason that people don't transfer to engineering majors, because in the United States, if you enter college without a boatload of credits, it's really hard to graduate on time with an engineering bachelor's degree. And I had no idea, so I just switched to engineering, and then didn't realize that it would take so long. Anyway, I realized that it would take me way too long to graduate, and I switched back to business, specifically economics. I almost did computer science. My mom convinced me not to.
Always these parents. I'm sorry. Nothing against your mom. I was more like a joke. You know, when you have this one parent that tells you something like, maybe you shouldn't go into this field. And then you're like, maybe.
You know, I wish that I had taken their advice more in some ways.
Oh my gosh.
They're older. They've been through more of life.
I always say, when people say, oh, I don't listen to my parents. Well, I think the greatest lessons we've ever experienced is when we don't follow someone's advice and we actually do the same mistakes. It would be so much easier to just tell everyone all the mistakes you've done. These sentence structures are crazy. Whatever. All the mistakes.
We can switch to German. Let's switch to German. I'm just kidding. I could not.
Let's switch.
Give me a year to learn German and we'll redo this.
No, we're not doing that.
German.
But basically, just if you could tell anyone everything they've done wrong in their life, you would still not listen.
They still wouldn't listen. Yeah.
Yes, and the moment you actually commit the biggest mistakes in your life, you come back and you're like, I don't know if I want to acknowledge and tell my parents that I actually
didn't listen to their advice.
I would probably never tell my mom fully on how many times she was actually right.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it this way.
Hey, you need to make your own mistakes. That's an important part of life. Especially while you're young.
Especially when you're young. Yes. So
Advice from a 21-year-old.
beautiful. So what happened afterwards? You were in computer engineering, and then you switched. Where did you switch to?
I was doing mechanical engineering at a school that's about 2 hours away from here. And I switched back to business, and then studied abroad, and then transferred to NC State immediately after studying abroad. So yeah, pretty wild. But
And then you call me being wild with my story. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't waste credits, I assume. I have a lot of wasted courses that I took.
You could literally listen to another episode that I recorded where we literally discuss if we think things are wasted or not if you go to college.
Yeah.
But I feel like
See what you mean.
I still agree that you'll learn things for yourself, and even if it's not the course content, that's fine.
The waste would be studying something that you don't want to study. You would be going down the path that you don't want to do. That would be a waste.
But you don't know what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So you still go towards that degree.
Switch if you have to.
Yeah. But yeah, why Victory of the People again? Just for the listeners.
I don't know. You told me.
We literally just discovered talking about the last episode. We were literally talking with Abdullah about the meaning of names and the origin of our names. And we decided to look up what Cole means. And apparently Cole is the victory of the people, and Veronica means the victory bringer. So we kind of
related.
Just realized that, yeah. So we're in Alabama. I'm sorry, my dear friends. Sorry. Jokes aside, let's just actually start the proper. I hope everyone is now relaxed, got their cup of coffee and tea. That's crazy.
Broke the ice? Have you not heard that expression?
No.
Wow, breaking the ice is a.
Oh, like broke. Oh my gosh, I thought like not ice, but actually like ice. Like what you see, and I was like, wow.
We broke the ice by being so incredibly ugly.
I was like, why would you break your eyes, but not the ice? Oh my gosh, this is such a misunderstanding. Cultural misunderstandings are funny, but starting off now finally and switching over to your actually episode, because it's not about me, it's about you. You want to just start off with like, why did you want to be on my podcast, and what is something that brought you where you decided to be, my dear friend?
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to talk about airplanes, right? We're supposed to talk about that topic.
Right, but the ice was just so prominent, we will literally
just too much.
Yes,
we had to break it.
If anyone ever read the book The Sandman, read it. You understand why I'm talking about ice. It's a literature book, but it's not really ethical. It is fiction. It's a really famous The Sandman, E.T.A. Hoffmann, written by a German actually man that loved dark romance or dark romantic books. It's like a genre, and he was like literally using ice almost in all, like on all pages, in each sentence.
I would get sick of ice reading that. The ice is broken. So I'm supposed to talk about getting my pilot license, because that's that's one of the most significant things I've done in my life, and that's what this is about. It's about who I am. So let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to say is that I need to explain the entire thing. This is going off the rails.
Too many idioms. Too many. Okay.
How do I explain this to you? You are from Germany.
Yes.
But you spent some time in the United States
Yes.
when you were younger. Did you have experience with the culture of general aviation in this country when you were younger or recently?
I love how we're switching. You're the interviewer now. No, but I actually have a friend who lives in Berlin and Hamburg at the same time. Don't ask. Who is into like flying and like being a pilot. So
did they ever take you in the airplane or
No.
take you to the airport?
I'm scared of heights.
Okay.
But I would love
too.
to. What?
My grandpa is afraid of heights, but he's a wonderful pilot.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Wonderful pilot.
But I'm not scared of flying actually on airplanes. Like if I'm flying back home to Germany. Yes, I'm not scared of it at all. Actually, some people are. I'm not really scared. I like it. It depends how you fly.
Well, in the United States, um, as part of our culture, we have a general aviation industry, and unlike in the European Union, in the United States, flying small aircraft is attainable for people of the middle class and whatnot, and obviously people that have more money. It's much more expensive in the EU. So that's one thing that you can take away from being in the United States is that aviation is popular here. It's part of our culture of individualism. But yeah, I mean the end story, you know, the point of the story is that I became a pilot. I trained when I was in middle school and high school at the urging of my grandfather, and it's a big part of who I am. So, as I was growing up, my grandfather, who's a pilot, would take us flying. A few times we flew down to the Bahamas, which is just southwest of Florida, and my uncle also was a pilot, and he would bring us into his airplane and show us what the Earth looks like from the sky. And sometimes he would let us sit in the captain's seat and actually steer the plane. Well, I have many memories of this.
What is one of your most memorable and favorite memory that you had with your grandpa or anyone in your family flying?
It's hard to pick out one specific memory. It really was that it was part of the culture of our family. I mean, instead of asking like when are my grandparents driving in, we would say when are they flying in. But when I was in middle school, my family and I took a trip to Ohio and to Washington, D.C., and we flew airplanes. And we stopped at a few aviation museums on the way. Ohio, notably, is the birthplace of the Wright brothers. Are you familiar with them?
Mm-hmm. You can tell the story, though. I think it will be interesting for some listeners.
I don't know the story that well, but the Wright brothers were the two brothers who claim to have invented flight, although there are people who say that it was actually someone else, I think, in Europe. But they were born in Ohio and owned a bicycle shop, and they were fascinated with the idea of human flight. And the only kind of flight that we had at the time, this was around 1900, was without wings, but lighter than air balloons. But they saw a bird flying, and they wanted to replicate that, but for humans. So they went in their bike shop and built a contraption. And then they came over to North Carolina, where we are, to the beach, Kitty Hawk, and they tested their invention. And I believe the first time that they traveled to North Carolina, they didn't succeed. And then later times they did. But, in 1901, they're credited as having performed the first human flight of a heavier than air aircraft. So one that isn't full of helium. Yeah, and anyway, they were born in Ohio, and so today there's a huge museum there that's just full of all kinds of aircraft. And I remember when I was in middle school, me and my father and my cousins flew over there to learn about, this great piece of our country's history and culture. So to go from that to starting the process of getting my pilot license, it wasn't even a question for me when I was in middle school of whether or not I would, um, whether or not I would do that process, exactly because it was the coolest thing that a middle schooler could do. So I had to say yes. Um, and the opportunity was being offered to me as well. And not a lot of people get such an opportunity. So I said yes. Yes, I would love to get my pilot license. And I began training in 7th grade, which is way too young to be flying airplanes.
I think so many things here in the United States are so, like, sometimes I'm just questioning it. I'm like, you're like too young. You're 13 years old driving a car, okay?
But you can't drink till you're 21.
Yes. But then I'm like, we only drive when we're 18. I still don't have my driver's license. You'll be like, yes, I know. I even work for a company that is actually like manufacturing cars, and it's a shame for me. But I just moved around so much that I never needed it.
Well, it's not as common in Germany. You don't need cars as much.
Yes and no. It depends. My dad was driving me, and then I moved, and I just never needed it when I was like literally in my college town. Just walked. That's how I get all my 18,000 steps per day. But yeah, going back actually to the flying thing, it's such an interesting story. It reminds me, you were joking about your career and how you switched from like business to engineering. You would have loved been born in Germany for one reason. My German business school university, ESB Business School, they offer, this is not a commercial, they offer a project engineering degree where their end goal or their end thesis, let's go this way, is to actually build a whole like aircraft yourself.
Okay, I'm moving to Germany.
And they actually fly it as their like final project.
I'm in.
And it's part of the business school, so you get like the business aspect too, and you do like project or plan and engineering. I forgot like the actual name, but it's literally you build it together. It's a really small like group of people. I think like maybe 25 people that they accept, and then you have a whole workshop just like to build aircraft, like a small one. Sorry, I just remembered, and I was like, maybe I should share that with you. But yeah.
I mean, I suppose if I had entered a program in college that was actually interesting to me, I probably would not have switched so much. Thinking back on that, like if I had found a program that had mixed aviation and business or management, things that I was interested in at the time, especially, I probably would have had a better time. But I did, when I went into college, I found fellow pilots and I was active in the aviation club. I started the aviation club at my school. But where were we in the story?
The story was you were talking about the museum and...
Right, and then starting flying.
Yes.
So you were talking about ages. To get your pilot license in the United States, you have to be 17. But to fly lighter than air aircraft, such as hot air balloons, you can be 16. And to fly gliders, which don't have engines, they're just towed up into the air by other aircraft, and then they kind of float down. So I was training when I was like 13. So I had like 4 years to get this accomplishment under my belt, because I had to be 17, obviously. And it's something that you can do in like 1 year. So I started really early on. But yeah, it was exciting. I still have memories of going to the airport and, making my flight plan, studying the weather, studying aircraft components, studying flying procedures at such a young age, and going up with my instructor and practicing landing.
Could you tell me more about what you need to do to prepare for a flight? I just never done it before. I'm just curious what you do.
Yeah. So first of all, there are a lot of differences between flying a small aircraft, like what I was flying, Cherokee 140 or a Cessna 172, and flying large aircraft like the ones that cross the Atlantic,
The one
like a
that
Boeing 737.
the one that I use all the time to like.
The one
get
that we
on
all
the-
know,
Yes.
that we've all been on. But there are also similarities. So some principles are just important no matter what. So one of the key skills that I had to develop in my training was the ability to do dead reckoning. So essentially, this gets a little bit complicated, but I'll try to explain. At any given moment, the air above Earth is moving, and that we call that wind. And in general, it's steady. It moves in just one direction. At the same time, you might be flying an airplane through that wind and trying to get from point A to point B on Earth. Well, it's like the medium through which you're flying is moving while you're trying to get from point A to point B. So if you flew directly towards point B, you wouldn't get there because the wind would push you away from it. Does that make sense? So you have to, based on the wind speed and direction, change the heading you fly so that you actually make it to the point you're trying to get to. People don't think about this, but it's fundamental in flying. So when I would fly a flight, or when I would plan a flight, for example, I would have to pick out each point that I wanted to fly to. I would have to discern the wind speed and wind direction, and I would have to determine the heading to fly, the actual heading on the compass, in order to get to that point. And on top of that, I would have to determine, based on my plane's speed through the air and the speed of the air over the earth, how long it would take to get from one point to another. And then on top of that, you need to write that down and then time yourself to know when you get to the point that you're trying to get to. That's called dead reckoning. Okay, there's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious. How close to the flight do you have to plan something like that?
You have to plan it pretty soon before, because the wind information isn't always accurate if you plan super far in advance. So usually I would show up at the airport and plan my flight there, like an hour before my lesson was supposed to start. And then the instructor would show up and I would already have the flight plan ready. So now dead reckoning isn't a skill that pilots need these days because they have GPS and they have systems that do the math for them as well. But when you're a pilot that's in training, it's really, really important that you nail down those skills. So that's what we did. And I got pretty good at it, you know. You just hope and pray that the information that you're given about the wind is accurate, because if not, you might be a couple miles off of your waypoint. We actually had an instructor at one of my later schools. Well, we're going to get into that part of the story, but I actually changed flight schools. We had an instructor actually miscalculate and fly over a military base through airspace that was completely restricted, that no civilian should ever fly into. And they landed at the airbase, which is even worse. They were pulled out of their plane by people with guns in uniforms, questioned for like 6 hours. It was a whole mess. And then that guy lost his job. The student probably never flew again. But yeah, that's what happens when you mess up dead reckoning.
But then I'm just curious, okay? What is, of course you can.
There's a lot I can talk about.
Yes, I'm like,
now that I'm talking about it again, because it's been a while since I've flown. Now that I'm having a conversation about it, I'm reminded about how complicated it actually is. There's so much I could tell you about it. I mean, we could literally be here for hours.
That's fine. I'm here for it. I'm just.
But it is really interesting.
I'm just curious. Isn't like a person's life more important? It's like a controversial thing. Like, just imagine there'll be like something changed, the wind changed, and you have to land somewhere else. Because it happened, right? It happens all the time. Like, and then if you think about it, it's interesting how this instructor got questioned because it makes sense, right? It's a military base. But then just imagine something would happen and they have to...
If there was an emergency.
Yes.
You're talking about if there's an emergency and you have to land at a military
Yes.
base. If you are flying a plane and you have an emergency, you can declare that over the radio station for the area that you're in, and the air traffic controller that's listening then allows you to take all necessary actions to save everyone in the aircraft. Yes, land. So you can land anywhere that's safe. So, and you have to say Mayday 3 times. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. I don't know. I think you can also say Pan Pan 3 times. I don't know where that comes from. That's just what they say. But if you say Mayday, 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 you get permission to do whatever you need to do to save the lives in the aircraft. So if the instructor did say Mayday, 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 he could have landed at the military base and not gotten pulled out of the aircraft with uniformed men with guns and questioned for 6 hours and gotten in a lot of trouble. Yeah, he should have said Mayday, 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 but he would have had to have a legitimate reason, obviously. But yeah, it's common for people to when they lose their engine or they have an engine fire to land on highways and things like that. Do whatever you can to save the people in the plane. But emergencies don't happen often, obviously.
They happen though?
They do.
I always joke, it's like people are always scared to fly, but there are less accidents while flying than car accidents.
Yeah, I've seen statistics like that.
And they exist. So it's like people are always worried because it's something maybe unnatural. Oh, I'm like off the ground. But then there's so many accidents daily, like in your car.
Well, it's different because when you're driving a car, you're surrounded by other death vehicles. Because when you're in the air, you can't hit anything.
Oh my gosh.
It's like an empty road.
I need to tell you this story. Okay. I know this has nothing to do with flying, but it reminds me every single time I learned this thing in class, and it's so interesting. Do you know what jaywalking means? Jaywalking, why we name it this the way we do? This is the weirdest version ever. There's this thing, I think it's like 80s or something, 90s, I don't know, don't name me down, I think even earlier, but basically jaywalking has something to do, because you mentioned how all the deaf mobiles are next to you. Yes, there's this really famous not picture, but it's like someone drew like just a little sketch, something like that, like to use it. And it's basically when the first vehicles were invented and people were actually buying them for daily use rather than just for commercial purposes or like sports, etc. It was really interesting because there's this picture where people were so scared of cars, and they thought the reason why cars are evil is because they kill people. And there's this picture of this evil car that is standing on top of the kind of like a hill, and this human being that sacrificed babies to him. And so it's like...
Sacrifice babies?
Yes. So it's like a human sacrifice. And the reason for that was because people were jaywalking all the time. And they were not thinking about the fact that, oh, there's a car. So they were just walking. They didn't care about the car. So cars were just killing people. Like this.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. It's bad. Like I'll just walk in front of cars.
And then you resurrect 1,000 times. Yes. And so jaywalking was actually established by the automotive industry. It was a business practice.
Oh, they probably lobbied for the law.
Almost. What they did, it's not a law. They actually decided to create a whole propaganda type of thing, or like more like a social experiment. All the police, the police would run around, and every single time when someone would walk over the street, they should shout out to this person and be like, "You are jaywalking! How dare you!" I
know, I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, and then everyone would look at them look at this person and feel so ashamed of doing it that they would never ever do that because of the social pressure of people.
The shame.
Yes, they would use emotions to actually like teach people to not do it. But
the car lobby in this country is powerful.
Yes. But coming back to actually airplanes and aircrafts and everything else, have you seen this movie? This is a messy conversation, but have you seen this movie? It's a Studio Ghibli movie. I don't know if you're familiar with like.
I know Studio Ghibli.
Or Ghibli. It depends like what country.
Yeah, I don't know how you want me to say it. I always say Ghibli.
Ghibli is actually right, because Ghibli means it's the meaning for Studio Ghibli is it means the desert, I think, and it's like it's actually derived from a different. It has an Arabic background, but then like a mixture of different like languages. It means the desert because they want to be part of the desert of so many different innovations, but being this one studio, yes, that actually brings.
That's meaningful.
Yeah, it is meaningful, but.
I just saw Spirited Away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just saw it.
I love Studio Ghibli, but there's one of my favorite movies is Where the Wind Rises. And a lot of people...
Where the Wind Rises?
Yes. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's actually about aircrafts and airplanes. And it tells a story about this man who is a young man engineer who wants to be the first to actually construct in Japan. So it's based on half a real story and half a like not real story. And yes, to be like an engineer. And so it goes back to this one guy that is an Italian engineer, and they bring in this character of the builder of one of the aircrafts. And like he's talking to him all the time and consulting him about the ideas and aspirations while being on the aircraft. And it's a really sad story too. So it's a happy and sad story at the same time, because he has his wife who has I don't know if cancer, but she has or tuberculosis, but it's really sad too. But the meaning is him trying to be the first innovator because he's so passionate about flying that he believes there is a way of us flying, and he will do everything he can to be like successful in even though he was just a random boy in school.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly magical, flying. That's one thing I haven't talked about yet, but the feeling of being in the air and partaking in such a incredible feat of human engineering is like no other. Yeah, it's not the same feeling as being in a commercial aircraft. I wish I was current and proficient. I would take you flying. But I haven't flown much recently. But yeah, it's truly a wonderful feeling, and it's something that makes me really proud to be an American, because I know that it's a big part of our culture, and it's big in other countries too. It's big in Europe mostly, and yeah.
My hometown in Germany.
Like you said you have your friend.
Oh,
You said you have your friend that's a pilot.
Yes, I have a friend who flies, but also my hometown, we would always see pilots, like these small like aircraft, specifically flying around like close to our apartment, and it would be always so funny because people like wave to them all the time. But I think it's so nice. No, actually, like my friend, he was Moritz. He's the first person I've met randomly that was interested in like being a pilot in general. And it just, I don't know, something I didn't really think about much as a hobby, but people are really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And
well, it's a big deal. I mean, aerospace is just, it really is cutting edge technology. It still is magical. I know I keep saying that, but.
No, that makes sense. It really does. I'm curious, so would you say you found this passion? You can call it a passion, right? Or not?
So that's actually an interesting point, because I don't know whether it's a passion of mine or not. Because when someone offers you the opportunity to get your pilot license, I would say yes, even if I wasn't passionate about it, because that's just such a cool thing to do. So I don't know if it's exactly a passion of mine. I mean, if it was something I was dying to do, then I'd be doing it right now. But it's just fairly expensive. So I prefer to allocate my money for other things. But go ahead and ask your question. Assume it is a passion for me. It's something I'm highly interested in.
But would you say a passion? What is for you a passion? That's maybe the question.
That's a great question. For me, passion is something that makes me lose track of time when I'm thinking about it. I'm a really curious person, and I think that I'm passionate about things that satisfy my curiosity. So I would say that at a certain point in my life, it was a passion because it did satisfy my curiosity. I mean, there was nothing more interesting to me than how planes worked and how pilots did their job, and how to become a pilot. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that it was a passion. It taught me a lot going through the process of training about science and physics and weather and the world of aviation in this country. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of, what do you think passions are? What are you passionate about and why? There's got to be a couple. I don't know.
I'm passionate about a lot of things. I don't know if you're asking. It's interesting how you ask me questions back, and it's like, it makes me think too.
Well, I'm curious. I'm just trying to discern the truth.
I don't think there's a truth.
What is a passion?
I don't think there's a truth. I think passions can change throughout the years. Something you were passionate about when you were 10 might not apply when you're 20. But there's also a distinct difference between you're passionate about something but you don't have the time for it. Like, for instance, I like a lot of things but I don't always have the time to do it. Doesn't mean it's not a passion. I think there are different types of passions. So something you're passionate about as a hobby, but you would never have, like, you don't want to have a job in this passion field. I think when you said you feel like it's something that makes you lose track of time, that's the best description. Even though there are 1,000 definitions of how you define a passion. It's just, I feel like it's something that makes me feel fulfilled. And something that I do, and it doesn't drain me as much. Because it fills me up. Like, it fills my cup, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like everyone has this anxiety, maybe that's the wrong word to use, of that stems from worrying that they're not doing what they need to be doing in life. And if you follow your passions, then it does fill your cup and it makes that sort of go away, that feeling. That's the feeling of being completely engaged in activity, where such that you lose track of time, I think.
I think you can be passionate about a specific hobby. For instance, you can be, like, I'm passionate about growing plants randomly, but I don't know as much about plants as I would like to. But then I don't want it to be my job.
See, that's why I say that that passion is tied to curiosity, because you're passionate about plants, and as a consequence, you want to learn more about plants. That's why you're getting that minor of yours.
True.
The horticulture minor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And then the other thing is, I think,
if there wasn't passion there, then it wouldn't be something you want to learn about. Go ahead.
I don't know. That's like another question that I would like think about.
See, there's something deep about that your passion is tied to curiosity. At least for me, I feel like that's the case.
I think you can be curious about something that is not your passion.
But not in the same way. But I see what you mean, though. I see where you're coming from.
Because sometimes you discover it's a passion without even knowing it, through having just curiosity to know about it.
You're right.
Like, it's
a healthy curiosity about just random stuff, everything.
But I do see the point where you're saying you become curious even more because you feel the passion behind it. But then passion can be also like, I'm really passionate talking to people. I just love talking to people. I love meeting new people, traveling and just having the most strangest conversations. But then that's something also not I will have a job in. Like, it's also not a hobby specifically, but I still,
It's something that fills your cup.
yes, like inspires me. Yeah. We actually, really interesting thing. I just came back from a leadership weekend. Let's go this way. It's this program called CCL, Creative Center for Leadership, what is in Greensboro, locally here. And one thing they talk about is the Clifton Strengths.
I've heard of this, but I'm not sure exactly what it is.
A lot of people do the Clifton Strengths in their freshman year of college. And it's literally just an assessment similar to MBTI tests and all these tests that people just do. And it tells you out of billion combinations that you're going to have, your top 5 or top 30, whatever, it depends, which one you do, strengths that you have. And they explain really well what you need and what you're good at and what you maybe like what you need to improve at, but it actually focuses on your strengths. And then also what type of collaborator you are. And I realized for the first...
What'd you get?
What
was your result?
You want to know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could guess. No, I don't think I could guess.
My top 5... Well, first is communication. But that's the thing. It is a strength. Being a communicator, meaning you express yourself to others. You like having... It's actually... It called me out on so many levels where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is bad. No, seriously, they were like, you like talking to strangers. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is crazy. This is like, I never took these tests serious till I realized that they have something that resonates with me so much. People don't think too much into it. And the interesting thing about the Clifton Strengths test is apparently according to like scientists, the top 10 will always be the same. They will all, like your top 10 strengths will always be the same throughout your whole life unless something major happens that tremendously like shapes you so much, then things can switch. But all they do is just switch around on the like placements. So maybe number 1 is not
so
number 2.
They don't even get replaced by something else. They just
they just move between these. Yes, between these. The top 10 stay.
The top 10 stay the same.
Yes. And
that is interesting.
It's so interesting. And so my second thing is strategic. Thinking about the big picture, being really strategic. Really like it's this having 1,000 ideas and putting them all together. Input, collecting a lot of data, but not like data analysis, but rather information from people, stories.
These go together well. So far.
Things that you like to do, learn about others. The fourth was kind of a really funny name, is woo. It means win others over. You create a positive, create a positive atmosphere for people so they feel comfortable being in it and make them feel like they can actually contribute to the conversation and connect so well that people just open up to you about anything almost. And then the last is individualization. So find people that are so different from you because you want to learn more from them and actually connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds. Now I'm actually curious what your top 5 are, but you have to. But it explains to you even the categories you're in, like how you approach group work.
Yeah, what was your collaborative?
Like the collaborative is more like the group work thing. And so I'm an influencer. I'm actually like, this is an interesting thing. Usually you have one type because these categories, these strengths are in different 4 categories that you can like classify in. And I have 2 that are like actually mixed in, and technically actually 3. I'm missing the executive one, so it's like actually being really like focused on the small scale tasks and just like focusing on these and actually doing it right away. If you see a task, you just do it. You just jump into it. But I'm a strategic thinker, so someone who thinks a lot about the big picture. I get the idea, but then I don't know how to implement it. But I have the idea. And I'm an influencer, someone who works well with people together, but also it's not only people. There's a relationship builder. That's the last point. Relationship builder. That's the thing. Relationship builder is my last point. So people that are actually really good, they are the glue in between different things. The influencer is the one that talks too much. What I do right now.
No, keep talking.
You talk too much. That's the influencer part. The strategic thinker is someone who thinks logically more, or tries to create a structure. And then, like I said, relationship builders are the people you need to create good relationships, and dynamics, and a group work.
Yeah.
And so
So you're not going to be the leader, but in every other way, you're a valuable member in a group project.
That's a misconception people have, because actually you're leading in all your shapes. Because you can be the communicator too, if you want to. It's more, it depends. It's more like a concept of everyone has their own part.
Oh, so what you're saying is that executive doesn't equate to leader?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's someone that, if you think about strategic thinkers, I have the idea, someone needs to actually be pushing that we create the product. So that's the executive person. Someone who
the executive person's
hands on. These people are usually, they don't like to give away work. If you work with people, you're like, oh, there's one person that always wants to do all the work by himself because they don't trust others that they will actually do a good job. Something you see all the time, right? It's an interesting thing. Whatever. We just drifted apart from pilots, but I think
all good. This is a interesting conversation as well.
It's yeah.
I still have a lot of story to tell too. So we can spend a lot more time.
We should go back. Should go back. But no, that's and I think that's why it's really interesting to learn about yourself, but also leadership skills. What is your passion? What is something you value in life? And I think it teaches you a lot about your hobbies and maybe things you pursue and where you want to end up in life.
Yeah, you have to make decisions about what you prioritize. Just a simple one is when you enter college, what clubs are you going to join? And if we know ourselves better, we can make better decisions about things like that.
I think sometimes it's also an experiment. Figure it out. Just give it a try. See what. Sometimes, oh my gosh, it reminds me. Like I said, I have a friend who decided to join the forestry club. And he was like, oh my gosh, he was so excited. Can you imagine? You have this tree trunk in front of you, and all we do is try to cut it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You're a journalist, man. What is happening? And it's he was so passionate about it. He was so, and it just inspired me to.
And it wasn't related to his major at all.
No, and this is exactly what I think makes you I feel like passions are what people's eyes shine. Do you know what I mean? When you look at someone and you just know the person loves what they are doing. It's good. But maybe back to the aircraft thing. Now I just realized it's a passion. I shared to the whole world my top 5 strengths, and that's crazy. That's a weird feeling. I know, right? What would you say are the top 3 things that you've learned from your experience flying as a pilot, and even on a personal level, what is something it taught you?
Man, you're asking the deep questions.
You want a deep conversation?
Gosh, you should have given these to me beforehand. I could have written notes or something. Jeez, now I got to think on the fly. Okay. Top 3 things I learned are a bunch of random facts about weather and aircraft components.
Okay, give me one fun fact
about
the
myself.
Weather.
Okay. I learned that. Cold fronts are indicated with lines that have teeth in them, and then warm fronts are indicated by lines that have sort of semicircles in them.
That's such a random fun fact. Dies instantly.
Pardon me. So no, but 3 things that I learned about myself and about the world. One big thing that I learned, it's not really something that you learn, but it's something that you come to understand, is that you are capable of doing things. There are things that seem unattainable, but they just are attainable. Like, I never thought that I would get my pilot license. I never thought, especially having spent 4 or 5 years in the process of training, and COVID happened in the middle of it, and that just totally messed it up too.
Would you say that's something because someone believed in you, or you said you would have never imagined it would have happened? Would you say that's something that came from you, or someone believed in you and that's why it happened and that's why you pursued it?
I don't know. I think it came from within. I don't know. It's just that having finally done it, it's meaningful to me because now I see other challenges that I could take on. And I think, well, I did this one thing. It's something that a lot of people take on and never finish. So I know that I can attain other things too. My grandfather supported me a lot. He never questioned whether or not I'd be able to finish. Was never a question. Same with my father and my mother. They never questioned my ability to finish the training. I never questioned it. But it's almost like I was young at the time, and I was sort of experimenting. Like we say, like you were talking about experimenting when you're young and just trying things out, like your friend that's in the forestry club. I was honestly just trying to see what would happen if I genuinely persevered at all costs towards this goal and just would not say no. Like what would actually happen. And what happens is that you attain what you try to attain. So that's a really important thing for a child that's really young to learn. And it's something that you don't just learn, but that you feel inside when you have a large accomplishment like that when you're young. So that's number 1. Number 2 would probably be the ability to make decisions. Oh my gosh. If I could tell you the number of times that I've had to make like literally life or death decisions at an airport or in an airplane, it would be a lot. Can you tell us a story? Sure. So it's funny to me that I was given so much responsibility at such a young age, because I mean, it really is life or death in those scenarios when you're in an airplane by yourself and you are 100% responsible for it. Let me think. There was one time that I was coming into land at an airport, and I thought I was too low. So when you're approaching a runway from the air, it's called the approach. And the best way to have a good landing is to have a good approach. That's just a good life skill. Maybe that'll be the third thing I learned. It's just like a sort of a metaphor. It's easy to have a good landing if you have a good approach. But that's just true in flying. And if your approach is too high or too low, you can just tell. And I felt a little bit like my approach was a little bit low. And there were trees before the runway. And I had to make the decision of whether or not to continue landing or to increase my power and, basically take it back off again and go around and try again. And I decided to go around. That's literally life or death. If I made the wrong decision and I was too low, I mean, I would have crashed the plane and died, or just put myself in more danger. So when you're young and you have to make decisions like that, it does a lot to fine tune your decision making abilities, especially under pressure. And feel like men especially are bad at making decisions when they're young.
I'm
Women
sorry.
too,
I'm
but
sorry. I'm just laughing because it reminds me of like, isn't there like also statistic about most men don't live past 26?
yeah,
Um,
because they're bad at making decisions.
yes, because they're too reckless in everything they do,
Yeah.
but women are more
Yeah,
like trying to.
It's a biological thing.
It is. It is.
So men especially, but even women when they're young, I mean girls,
Do stupid
they're just
things.
not as good at making decisions as adults. But
Even adults do stupid things.
yeah, adults act like children often. So the decision-making ability was another skill that I learned. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was like sleepy.
It's late now.
I'm sorry.
It's
Ignore
late.
me. Ignore me.
It's time for bed.
No time for
Let's
bed.
shut the lights off and go to sleep.
No, that's why you shut down the lights here. You just start sleeping. No, it reminds me of my dad always joking, and he's like, "Any idiot can fly, but not everyone can land." Literally something he would always tell me.
That is true.
Like, it's more difficult to land, not to start an engine.
Yeah, the most dangerous point of any flight is the approach and landing.
What is your third thing that you've learned?
Okay, well, as I was telling that story, I had another idea. I had the third one. It was that this is going to sound so poetic.
Okay, no. We're here for it, okay?
Okay, we're here for it. You can't have a good landing unless you have an excellent approach. Use that in all aspects of your life.
I'm going to name this episode.
Have a good approach.
Have a good approach.
It's true, though. It means that your mindset when you enter any activity that you do, any task that you take on in your life, determines how you perform in that task. And that's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. So that's one thing that I learned from flying. If you're too low, too close to the ground as you're landing, it screws you over when you actually try to have a good performance in landing. And when you're too high, I mean, you just can't salvage it. So, and anything that you take on, have a level, even disposition toward it, and think positively no matter what.
I'm about to die. Let's think positively.
The approach.
It's sing a song.
Wait, what?
I said, you're about to die. Think positively
Yeah,
and
think
sing a song.
positively.
What would be a song you would sing if you were about to die in your little aircraft?
I don't know. Do you know a lot of American music?
I do.
I would sing.
It depends, though.
I would sing "Danger Zone," the song from Top Gun.
That's
Highway to the danger zone. Do you know that one?
Yes, I do.
Have you seen the movie?
Actually, no.
Okay. That's a classic. Top Gun's a classic American movie about flying.
Oh, we're flying.
Yeah, and then the new movie came out recently too, Maverick.
Oh, true.
Yeah, did you see that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Not yet. This actually.
Okay, you have 2 movies to watch.
This
now.
a different movie. You should have been here when I was struggling 2 days ago to find a movie, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know when you know what you want, but you can't find the right movie? That's me every single time. Sometimes I'm like questioning. I'm like, are they...
Like you can't remember the movie, or you can't find one that like
fits the...
is exactly what you
Yes,
need.
the second one.
What you need
What do you need
emotionally.
emotionally? I was like, can we just have a whole like folder of just wholesome movies for your soul when you just want something that will warm you up, but you don't want something cliche that's just like a love story, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to watch, but then I don't want something that will, I don't know, make me think too much. No, I was thinking there's a new movie that came out. It's about not the aircraft, it's about the balloon. What's the...
Hot air balloons.
Thank you. It's like,
How do you call them in German?
oh my gosh.
I'm
You
kidding.
just said something and my brain is like, I don't remember in what language we're speaking.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hot air balloon. It's okay if you don't remember.
This is like right now a bad moment. I'm just actually thinking because ballon is like the normal balloon, and then we need to check this. My brain is just shut down. This is how I'm not...
We also call them zeppelins in English.
Zeppelin. We could say Zeppelin.
But that's sort of different.
That's
than a hot air
yeah,
balloon.
they're like a different shape too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hot air balloons are smaller. Zeppelins are big.
Have you been on one before?
What, a hot air balloon?
Mm-hmm.
I have not, but I have been to a festival in Albuquerque called the Hot Air Balloon Festival.
There's okay, where's it located? Wait, how far?
In Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
It's every year. Oh my gosh, you should look this up on the internet.
Heißluftballon. Oh my gosh, it took us so long. It's literally the same translation. Oh my.
Heißluftballon?
No. Heißluftballon.
Ballon.
Heißluftballon. Heißluftballon.
Heißluftballon. What? My pronunciation is pretty good.
For once, one that is
picking it up.
confident about their German skills. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. No, I take it. There is a new movie that came out, and it's literally about the first expedition that was one of the highest ones in like history. And I love that movie. I forgot the name.
When was it? When was it set?
It was.
And where? I'm curious.
Oh my gosh, it's been a while that I watched the movie, but it's like. Basically,
Really
it was
curious.
literally about this performer lady that was really famous, and she ended up going as the first woman what people would just criticize completely on a hot air balloon expedition because she previously been on one, and it's like based on a true story, and she was there with a really famous like he was a researcher, and they both went on this trip. And so this lady that is a performer makes everything look like so fancy and like it's in the newspapers, but she's actually an expert in flying. And one of the first ones that because her
I feel like I remember this story.
I'm like
Oh my god.
it's just like
I must have seen
it's
the movie
such
a long
a
time
it's
ago.
such a good movie, and it's
What's it called?
well I need to look this up. This is the moment of the day.
There's something
Oh,
so
the
artistic
aeronauts?
about a hot air balloon.
Aeronauts?
The aeronauts?
Yeah. 2019.
Oh, it's recent.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to watch that
And
one.
it's now you have also a movie to watch. It's literally about the scientist that was trying to like predict.
Okay, I remember hearing about this movie.
And it was a really good movie. It's really like I don't know how to explain it.
And it's feminist too, like.
In a way,
She
it's
was,
not really. That's not the theme, but I think it is one of them because she was not taken serious since she's a woman, but she's the one that
Yeah.
actually knew how to fly one.
She was an expert.
And she lost her husband because he decided when they were trying to land, he decided to jump off to save her life. And she lost her husband because literally he decided to sacrifice himself while they tried to like land, and there was like a huge
What a story.
storm. And so she was in a huge depression, couldn't get it back to flying, and there was this guy that was so passionate about flying and like all the science behind it. From like, do you know, like, fun fact, maybe you know that there's a certain like height that you can reach where there is a whole bunch of butterflies, like because of the air.
Are you serious?
Seriously. So the thing is, I can't really explain properly as a scientist, but basically it's just certain like wind flows or like air flows that are warmer or colder or depending like, and so really, really high up when you like literally almost reach the specific like region where you shouldn't be in because everything's gonna freeze. There are certain random spaces where there are butterflies collecting in huge crowds.
And they collect there because of the weather?
I think
Because of the temperature?
I think it's more than that, but that's like one of the things.
It might be the air pressure
Yeah.
too. Maybe they like a certain pressure.
But it's warmer too.
That's cool. Well, I mean, I've flown a lot, and I have never seen a school of butterfly in the air.
Yeah, that's like just
But I would have loved
a
to.
random thing. And this movie is fantastic. It's literally this lady saved both of them. I'm like spoiling the movie.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, she's saving it. And the craziest thing is she saves this with her shoe. I feel like I spoiled them.
Oh,
You're like, what the heck is happening?
Okay, stop spoiling it now. Now it's too intriguing. I'm gonna watch it. So.
No, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's really funny because I watch all my movies in Russian.
just to maintain that language.
No, because I used to watch it with my parents and we speak Russian at home. So
Yeah.
we only watch it in Russian, and it's easier to find movies that are translated in Russian. Don't ask me why.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'm not even sure what the name is of the movie, but I know it in Russian. I've seen it in Russian.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. But I'm thinking also like another thing that came up to me randomly to share, but we're gonna switch back to your stories, I promise.
It's H, your podcast. You pick it. That's what I was saying at the beginning, or when you texted me on Instagram, or when I texted you. Look, pick a topic. I'll talk about it. Pick any topic.
There's
Screw the airplanes.
That's crazy. There's a whole science behind where you can sit on an airplane to have a better experience in an economy class.
Yeah, it's the exit row. Because you have more legroom.
Yes and no.
Like halfway
This
down.
is one of the points. Analysis of Veronica flying across the globe with only the cheapest seats that you can actually find is like that. So if you get sick because you can't just fly on an aircraft, you have to sit in the middle, like, because where you have the wings is the most stable. It will,
If you get sick?
like, if you get like
Oh, if
nauseous
you get sick in the air.
all the time, you
Yeah.
need to sit by the wings because it's the most stable. So book your
that makes
tickets if you can get it. If you want a best service, then sit actually in the back sometimes, depending on the like company, because the stewardess will probably most likely help you out if they also in the back.
Yeah, because they stay back
But
there
they don't
usually.
want to see others, like they don't want others to see how they serve food. So they will only help the people in the back.
People on the way back.
Yes, unless you're in like a really big business area. And then there's nothing like room, that's the point. But if you have a huge luggage, you need to book the tickets in the front, because less likely or more likely you will enter the aircraft as the first person to put down your luggage.
So you'll have space.
Yes, but you will most likely less have space, like leg room in the economy class, even sometimes in the front. It depends. So there are like different random things, fun things. I don't know. I just realized that over the years, you kind of accumulate random fun facts, where you want to sit, where you should sit, how you should avoid certain random situations.
I want to sit in the jump seat. The small seat that's in the cockpit.
That's
Next to
crazy.
the pilots.
It's crazy.
That's where I would want to
I-
sit, but they don't let
I
you.
wish. My mom
They don't let you unless you're special.
My mom once was flying with the stewardesses. We didn't have enough seats. So, you know how aircraft or like companies in general, like they overbook? They give more tickets than actually their seats. Well, once in a lifetime, we managed to get on this aircraft that everyone decided to be on. No one was missing at all. And they didn't think about the fact that there's one seat that is missing. So my mom was literally standing and handing out water in the back while she's not even a stewardess the whole flight to Turkey.
I hope they paid her.
They didn't, but she said it was the best flight ever because she just hates sitting the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
So she was just enjoying her life.
How long was the flight?
4 hours.
Yeah, I would enjoy that too.
So she was
Just
just
like being a stewardess for a day.
for free.
But you don't. Oh yeah, you don't get paid, but you also don't have to deal with like.
How to shadow stewardess. Okay, coming back to actually the story. Another thing that I was curious is, how would you say, what is an advice you would give to others regarding of flying and being a pilot, and maybe if someone wants to, anything actually. I don't want to limit you.
Live in the United States.
What do you mean? Like,
I think it's.
no.
I know I keep saying that, but I think it is easier here.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I need to go. Okay, I'll probably study abroad in Europe later in college. When I'm there, I'm going to go to an airport and talk to somebody about flying because I need to know what the differences are.
I would
Because I just hear that it's easier in the United States.
just connect you to the person that I know.
Okay. Do they have Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, put me
Cool.
in touch. I'll have a conversation with
This
them.
is how you connect people. I'm just saying.
But it is easier in the United States, so I mean, someone would have to confirm that with me. But even Europeans say that it's that this country is just so economically productive, and we run the world politically, geopolitically.
That's crazy.
So we have the ability to have such a large general aviation industry.
I have friends that would just disagree with the statement. That was a really bold
That
statement.
the U.S. runs the world geopolitically.
That was a bold statement.
That we have the highest GDP of any country. It's just true. I'm not making a value judgment. Like, there's things about this country that I can't stand.
You literally export more than you actually import more than export.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You do. Twice as much. Okay, let's just shift away from politics, because that's not gonna be. I think that's a controversial topic.
We're also the largest oil producer in the world, which I never expected. We actually produce the most oil of any country in the world, and we export it all for some reason. As far as I know.
I'm not sure about that. I can't tell you anything about it.
It's like first us, and then like Russia, and then like Saudi Arabia. Venezuela's up there. But like, I didn't know that we had that much oil. Anyway. Yeah, but did you know that all of the general aviation gasoline that's used around the world is made in the United States?
Mm-mm.
So it has to be shipped to other countries. So that just increases the price of the hobby in general. So it's things like that make the U.S. the perfect place to learn how to fly.
But the thing is about the prices. When you buy a ticket, there's already a risk percentage.
No, I'm talking about general aviation, like small planes.
Okay, because even thinking about bigger aircrafts, there's a certain percentage already included in your ticket price, where they assume if gasoline or other like resources that are needed gonna increase, so they don't have to increase the tickets. It's like a price stability that is included.
That makes sense, because you can purchase tickets like 6 months out from your flight, or like a year, and they don't know what the price of gasoline will be at the time.
Yes, this is like a really complex, actually. One of the most complex things you can do is literally like the anticipation of risk management, and like realizing what could happen eventually based on different things in the world. I have a friend of mine who worked for Calgary, the airport in Calgary, and she was like the optimization manager, and like kind of like planning each route and what airplanes will land when, and like optimizing certain like processes in this whole like airport. Like, she was the one doing it, so sweet.
I hope she got paid a lot.
She was paid. She got paid. She got paid.
I mean, that seems like a very valuable job. So
it is definitely. Maybe like, I feel like we can talk about a lot, but this is an episode I talked the most. This is actually crazy, but
no, keep talking.
Maybe like maybe a little bit like drawing back wait, what was your advice?
Oh, my advice was kind of silly. So I can give serious advice.
No, it's okay.
My advice was live in the United States if you want to learn to fly, because it's just cheaper here.
It's another advice.
Okay, but more general advice, when you're young, especially, take every opportunity that's presented to you. Don't question it. If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, do you want to start a podcast?" or "Do you want to join our band, even though you don't play any instruments?" Or "Do you want to join our ballet team, even though you never danced in your life?" Just say yes, because screw it. Why not?
I love it.
What's the worst that can happen? Just say yes. Just go do everything that's presented to you. Don't even question. Don't second guess yourself. Sorry, I was trying to get the words out. No, that's okay. So COVID happened. So I was training in middle school. COVID happened in 2020, and my training had to stop, obviously, because just like hobbies like that stopped. The general aviation stopped. People stopped training. And then 2 years later, I actually worked at an airport for a while, a different airport than the one I was training at. And then I got my pilot license at a new school at that airport with a new instructor. His name was Joshua, and he was just a wonderful pilot and a great instructor. And that final year, I remember I was a senior in high school, and every day after school, I would drive over to the airport to complete my lessons, learn more about flying. And then I actually graduated high school in May of 2022. And then that summer, I just worked and took lessons, and I got my pilot license at the end of that summer before going off to college. And I was so happy to have taken the test and passed. And I think I was like 17 and a half or 18 at that point. And then I took my license and I used the privileges that are part of it. I took my dad flying. That was wonderful. And then I took my friend flying. And I haven't used my license since. And this is another thing you'll find interesting, but I'm not upset about the fact that I haven't used the privileges of my private pilot license since gaining it, because I'm proud to have gone through that process, but I can also at any point go flying. I just need to rent a plane from one of these flight rental schools and go flying. So I don't feel a lot of pressure to get back into the hobby while I'm in college. College students are poor. So that's the whole story.
Why did you stop?
Why did I stop? Okay. It's expensive. It's expensive. It's like $150 an hour at the cheapest to rent one of these planes. So if you fly an hour a week or 2 hours a week, that's what, $300 a week. Over the course of a year, you're spending, what is that, $600? Hold on. No. That's totally wrong.
This is why no engineers and math people.
That's $60,000, right? Hold on. No, $6,000. Hold on.
It's
a lot of money. It's $150 an hour or more to rent a plane. And but I mean, I don't know what I'll do. I'm happy to have the capability and the ability to fly airplanes if I wanted to, but I just have to make that cost benefit analysis once I have a real job after college, decide what I want to do. So that's the whole story.
Do you miss flying?
Yeah. I do miss it. I fly a little bit sometimes when I can go with someone that I know. The last time I flew was with a friend that I met at that airport who also got his pilot license in high school, but he went down that path as a career. So he does a lot of flying still because he's trying to make it a job, and he took me flying once. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, it is a passion, as we were talking about. So I would love to fly again soon. But I have lots of connections that are pilots.
How do you think? And now, like the last question. How do you think?
Okay, let's bring it home.
How do you think? Yes, exactly.
How long have we been going?
Long enough. But I'm joking. In the context of identity, because you asked me, right? How would you say being a pilot shaped you and yourself as a person? That, like, you can go in different ways about it. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. Like when I was in college, I considered joining the military program at my school with the goal of becoming a military pilot. And I wouldn't have even thought of that if I hadn't earned my pilot license in high school. I didn't. I got really close to joining. And then more recently, I talked to a Marine recruiter about joining after college because the Marines let you join and give you a pilot slot before you have to enlist or before you have to commission and make that decision. But I decided not to. But I mean, it's just the decisions that you make are based on your identity. And I think that I wouldn't have even considered joining the military if I wasn't a pilot, because being a military pilot is pretty cool. But I'm not going to go down that route. At least I don't have plans to in the near future. But other than that, I mean, it's something that really sets you apart. Like I remember the day that I got my pilot license, my grandfather, who was my largest supporter during the process, sent me a text message actually, and he said something to the effect of, "Well, Cole, only about 1% of people who start training actually get their pilot license, and there's only about something like, I don't know what the number is, 50,000 or I don't know, 10,000 private pilots in the United States that have gotten this certificate like what you have. So you're joining a small fraternity of people in the United States who have gone through a similar experience as you, and it makes you proud. So, I mean, it really has affected my identity. And, you know, it makes me think now that you're asking me these questions, like, I should go back to an airport and just go talk to people, have conversations with other pilots, because it is a big part of my life. And recently I haven't been very active on that front. Like I said, in college, I started an aviation club, and I met a lot of other pilots there at that school. But recently I haven't been as involved in the industry.
Is there an aviation club at State?
There is, yeah, there is. It's called Wolf Wings, but it's not functioning right now.
Why?
So I actually knew the old president. We met once. He works at the same company as my grandfather and uncle, and he graduated last year. They did, I think, a couple events while he was the president, and he passed the club on to someone else who I think is trying to become a commercial pilot. And I tried to get in contact with the new president, but he just didn't contact me. So unfortunately, it seems like there's not a lot of interest right now.
Maybe we should spray paint the free expression tunnel and ask for aviation people.
Pictures of airplanes.
Seriously.
But I know pilots that go here. I mean, I just met one recently. People that have their private pilot licenses or are just interested in aviation. Yeah, it should be a significant portion of the student population at NC State, because considering that we have an aerospace program. In my other university, I went to UNC Charlotte, which is another big public school in the state. My other university didn't even have an aerospace engineering major, but they had, I mean, as far as I remember, it was something like 10 or more private pilots just like me that were attending the school. And NC State does have an aerospace program, as I said. So, I mean, I know the interest is here. I said earlier that there's no interest. I think there is interest, but it would have to be corralled, and we'd have to find who actually is here that's interested and get them together doing events.
So if anyone is listening and loves aviation, please just contact this guy or contact me. You'll find me.
You don't have to be a pilot.
Yes. Anyone who's interested in that. And even if you're just a big fan of Studio Ghibli movies and all you want to see is Where the Wind Rises, well, we can make that happen.
Get in contact with me. If you are a pilot in the Raleigh area, seriously, get in contact. I would love to make more connections in the aviation industry. So I don't know what my Instagram handle is, but my name's Cole Hood, so look me up.
I remember, maybe a last fun fact, one of the students she graduated this year, and she was also in this dual degree program, but from the German university with, I think it's German-Brazil track, like to go to Brazilian. And she wanted...
Your friend from Germany?
We are more acquaintances, like I know her, but she really wanted to be a pilot. Her dream was to be a pilot. And so she started this whole journey to go actually into management, because it was like a way for her to like pay also to be like a pilot, and also like other ways.
It's expensive to become a pilot. It's sort of like becoming a doctor. You have to put a lot of money up front, but the pay is good.
What's the official name for like horse riding? I think it's like there's a
equestrianism.
Yeah, there's a specific term for it. It's the same thing with that hobby.
It's expensive at the beginning
because a horse takes a lot of money away.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then I'm like questioning, are these hobbies or passions unattainable for people because they don't have the money? And how can we make them in society more attainable for people that are just interested in them?
It's a good question. It's a really good question, and the price of flying an aircraft, even adjusted for inflation, has just skyrocketed over the past few decades, because the industry is changing. That's specifically in the United States. But yeah, it would be unfortunate if in 10 years it becomes even more expensive to take that on as a hobby. And same for equestrianism.
And maybe like there will be specific passions or hobbies that will just be lost completely because people cannot pay for it, or like people that can pay for it just are not interested in it. And I think that would be a shame. But yeah. Do you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm in agreement.
Do you have like any last words? Something that you feel like you want to leave behind as a pilot? I know we didn't really talk that much into all stories, but I think there's always a possibility of talking in another episode about it. But something you feel like you would like to share with listeners that might be interested in these things.
I hope that my coming on this podcast has piqued your curiosity about aviation more. Get in contact with me. I'd love to talk about it with anyone that's interested. And if you are really interested, then go to your local airport and ask about it, and maybe go become a pilot yourself. It always helps to have more interest in aviation. I think that would help the industry a lot. So other than that, yeah, anyone's welcome to contact me who's listening to this. My name's Cole Hood, so look me up on Instagram. Or I'm sure that maybe in the show notes you'll put like my Instagram handle or whatnot. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to come on your podcast, Veronica, and I hope that this show is enlightening for people who are listening.
Thank you too. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I wish anyone who's listening to this episode, thank you so much for finishing all this hour or something to get to this point.
The real ones.
Yes, the real ones.
The real ones listen till the end.
And I just hope that you have a wonderful evening whenever you're listening to it, or morning, and fly high, my dear friends. Thank you so much for listening, and
fly high.
Take care. Bye-bye.